Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to this episode of The Invisible Critic. It's episode 2, which had been erased, but now I'm putting it back up. This is about the first family of the globalist conspiracy, the Rothschilds. And we start in 1743. A guy named Amschel Moses Bauer in Frankfurt, big-time Jewish moneylender, started up this business in the ghetto, the Jewish ghetto of Frankfurt, making loans, exchanging coins, all that kind of money grubbing. He never became a big global player, but he built it up pretty big and then passed it on to his son. Mayer Amschel Bauer took over the business in 1763, hooked up with the Oppenheimer family, and Mayer Amschel Bauer, he is the true patriarch because he made it big, and then he took the name Rothschild. There it is. That's that dirty grease ball right there. And he became so wealthy. They even had it. He got his own coat of arms here for the Rothschild family: Concordia, Integritas, Industry. There's no industry. He's just a sleazy moneylender. Now, whenever the Invisible Critic tries to prove a point, I always like to use the adversary's ammunition against them. It's more powerful that way. This way people can't say, oh, the Invisible Critic, he's a conspiracy theorist, you can't believe him. No, here's a movie, 1934, Hollywood, which is dominated by Jews. They did a movie called The House of Rothschild. Had some big-name actors in it, like Boris Karloff, George Arliss, Robert Young, Loretta Young. 1934, The House of Rothschild. And it was a sympathetic portrayal of the Rothschild dynasty. Nonetheless, a lot of truth came through it. It showed how powerful, immensely powerful they were and how manipulative they were. Now, you could make a movie like this today, but it's like one of those things, even though it was sympathetic to the Rothschilds, it really gave you an idea. And I'm going to link a clip down below. But here's a scene where Rothschild, he's on his deathbed, and he's surrounded by his 5 sons. And he's telling them in the future there's going to be a lot of wars in Europe, and the countries are going to come to the Rothschild family for financing for these wars. And that's exactly how it happened. And they even owned many of the parliamentarians and nobles who they instigated into the wars, that then they profited on them. And he told his sons to go forth and set up shop in 5 major European cities. That's right there in his deathbed scene. They confirm it. He had 5 sons, and they each founded a banking dynasty. James in Paris. Amschel stayed behind in Frankfurt. Solomon went to Austria. Karl in Naples. And the 5th son, Nathan, he topped them all. He went to London, and he basically took over the British Empire. And then his brother controlled France. They became so big and so rich, lending money to governments to fight wars. And if you know how compound interest works, your money just doubles and doubles and doubles and doubles year in, year out, decade in and decade out. Here's another scene from the movie. And this is the movie, again, this is a sympathetic movie, but it shows all these big diplomats, British and Prussian and Austrian, crawling to the Rothschild. Nathan Rothschild begging for money to fight Napoleon. And the Rothschilds wanted to put Napoleon down because he was anti-money lending. That's in an upcoming episode. This guy here, that's Boris Karloff. Remember him? He was the Frankenstein monster, and they have him portraying the Prussian, the German, who hates Rothschild. So already they were conditioning people with this brainwash idea about the Germans are anti-Semitic. It's 1934. Hitler's already in power, but that just shows they picked Frankenstein to portray the Prussian guy, and he's a villain in the movie because he's anti-Semitic. Here's the Duke of Wellington. Again, this is in the movie. He's kissing Nathan Rothschild's ass, asking for money to fight Napoleon. Oh, the wealth is so immense, and they got into diamonds and all kinds of other stuff. Central banking, where they actually own the money supply. They're just trillionaires. Forbes magazine or Fortune magazine, one of them, I've admitted they're the richest family in world history. I did these in color for you. Look at some of the mansions they lived in, places like England and France and Austria. Okay? Look at these cribs. You ever seen anything like it? They had bigger mansions than the freaking kings. Look at that. Who lives like this? One after another, ostentatious. They wanted their show-offs. They wanted to show that they were the rulers of these countries, and they still are. Look at these cribs. It's bigger than the freaking White House. Here's one that's more contemporary in the south of France. These are all Rothschild residences. Are you kidding me? In the south of France, you can't even buy a freaking porta potty for less than $1 million. Oh, and you know, with this money, they bought up influence, they buy up media, they buy up academia, they buy up the politicians, the parliamentarians, the presidents, and the prime ministers. It's going on to this day. Yeah, look at those filthy scumbags, Bill and Hillary Clinton, posing with Sir Evelyn de Rothschild of London and his wife Lynn Forrester de Rothschild. They're all buddies. They pick your presidents for you. You don't got no power when you go to the ballot box. Although they wanted Hillary, Trump beat them. And that's another story. What do we got here? Oh, look at this. This is Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's governor of California at the time, and billionaire investor Warren Buffett. They're at the estate of Jacob Rothschild, Waddesdon Manor in England. They're marveling at it. And you can just see the body language. There's video of this, too. They're like in awe of Rothschild. They're kissing his ass. These are big men kissing his ass. Here, Prince Charles and Sir Evelyn de Rothschild. He's sticking his finger in Prince Charles' chest. You're not supposed to touch it, royal, but he don't care. Because he's superior. He owns Britain. Prince Charles is nothing. Lady the Rothschild with Hillary. Huh? These goddamn child sex traffickers. That's what they are. There's another big money maker for these people. Here's Jacob de Rothschild with David Rockefeller. They did a lot of business together, the Rothschild family and the Rockefeller family. And we'll get into the Rockefellers in a future episode. One of the richest families in world history, too. But they allied, all these billionaire families, they're allied together in a network of networks. They rule the world. That's your new world order. But the Rothschilds have always been at the center, at the pinnacle. Here's two big kingpins of that wretched family. Sir Evelyn de Rothschild and Evelyn de Rothschild. They all got titles. They're all sirs and lords. You know, they're drinking what they drinking. Champagne cocktails. Drinking a toast to how they rule the world. Yeah. Here's another one. Another son of a bitch. David the Rothschild. He's a big promoter of the global warming hoax. Rothschilds are behind that. It's a trick to control the world's resources and create a world government and a world revenue system. Here's the video. I'll link this down below, too. It's Sir Jacob Rothschild, and it's like a TV documentary, and he's admitting how his family set up the state of Israel. And all those headings it's calls for the world, they did that. Nothing but trouble. World War, state of Israel, depressions. Oh, liberalism, Marxism, environmentalism. This is the core right here. Here's another one. Billionaire David the Rothschild. Nat the Rothschild. Nathaniel. These are the direct descendants of that son of a bitch Moses M. Bauer. It's the son of the son of the son of the son of the son. It's going on like a quarter of a millennium. It's unbelievable. One family, the Rothschild family. And I had this episode, it was originally titled Rothschild Family, and YouTube took it down. So now I put it up, I cleaned it up a little bit, and I can't put their name in the title. They won't allow it. But that's the story of the Rothschild family, and, you know, you cannot understand this one world order conspiracy without knowing something about them. And I got a couple books linked below, Planet Rothschild, that you should read. But that's all I got for today. Until next time, this is your host, the Invisible Critic, signing off.